Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's been about 3 months since I've uploaded a video, so I felt that I should probably get one uploaded so you guys know what I'm up to. So this is just going to be a quick update video for you guys today to let you know what I've been up to and what's been going on here in Kansas and what I've been doing, I guess, in Kansas and what I will be doing. So the main reason there hasn't been any videos for 3 months is I've been quite busy. Doing a master's in geology, it takes a lot of time, so there's not a lot of opportunity for me to go out and film a video and make content. I do have some ideas in mind, but just been too busy. In fact, I just recently published, I proposed my thesis. I gave my proposal, essentially, for my research in Dillon, Montana. I'll give you some quick details on what that entails. I apologize if you can hear my neighbor's ACs here at the apartment. It's, I believe, 80 degrees out right now. It's been quite warm here in Kansas. Anyways, I just recently proposed my thesis, which that took up a lot of time, several months of writing and editing and preparing a presentation to give in front of my committee. Like I said, my research is in Dillon, Montana, or around the area of Dillon, Montana, so it's not just Dillon, Montana, but other within that region, Virginia City, Gravelly Range, and some of the other mountains and valleys. So my main research and what I'm doing is I'm dealing with the Dillon volcanics, or the Dillon volcanic field, which is Eocene to Miocene volcanic field. So it stretches about, I believe the oldest is about 48 million years old, while the youngest Dillon is about 16 million years old. And what I'm doing is I'm going to try to determine what mantle sources these melts derived from. So I'm specifically going to be looking at the mafic rocks, mainly the basalts and basaltic andesites, to determine, are these melts coming from lithospheric mantle sources, or are they coming from asthenospheric mantle sources? And I'm going to look at the different age groups. There's a lower, middle, and upper, the upper being the youngest and the lower being the oldest. And I'm going to see if there's maybe a transition from a lithospheric source to maybe an asthenospheric source as you get younger in age, and what the tectonic implications for that mean. Because for my region, there's a couple proposed tectonic models, but there's still a debate. And some of the things I'm going to be collecting, so when I'm out in the field this summer, I'm going to be out there in July, I'm going to be collecting about 30 samples of these mafic basalts, basaltic andesites, anything that's mafic, because that's a good analog for the mantle since they're direct melts of the mantle. But I'm going to be collecting 30 samples for geochemistry, so geochemical analysis, but also isotope analysis, specifically strontium and neodymium, and perhaps lead isotopes. And what I'm going to use with that is, well, I can use that to determine lithospheric versus asthenospheric sources. I don't want to go too in depth into it because that could be like a whole half-hour long video of itself. But the big thing is, for the Dillon volcanic field, there is no isotope data whatsoever. There's no isotopes at all. It doesn't matter what it is, it doesn't exist. There is some existing whole rock and major trace element geochemistry, but even that's limited, especially in the younger. So that's what I'm going to be doing this summer, is collecting a whole bunch of rocks, and then when I get back here in Kansas, back in August, I'll begin working on prepping those samples and getting them sent off to different labs that'll be analyzing these samples for me. And then, of course, I got to interpret the data, and I got to write my actual thesis report, so I'm going to be really busy with that. I mean, I should be graduating next year, about this time, a year from now, so got to keep up that hard work and just keep pushing through it. It's been a grind for sure. Sometimes I wonder if this is what I actually want to do. I've been doing this for like 6 or 7 years. It is what I want to do, for sure. I love geology and science. I've always enjoyed the science, but man, after 6 or 7 years of being in school, I'm ready to be done with it and move on. So, but it's really cool research. So that's what I'm going to be doing this summer. But besides that, I've been busy with other things. I'm a TA, so I'm a teaching assistant. I work in the labs, and I try to help the students whenever I can, and I grade different assignments. We actually recently had a field trip, and we got to go out to a lamperite mine. If you don't know what a lamperite is, it's similar to a kimberlite, They're basically these volcanic systems that come up quickly from all the way from the mantle to the Earth's surface, and I think geologically speaking, that can happen, I believe, in a matter of days or weeks, so they're really fast. And what's significant about them is they bring up deep mantle minerals and sometimes diamonds. However, the lamperite we saw in Kansas doesn't contain diamonds, but they are mining it for, it is, I believe it's phlagopite. Anyways, it is a mica mineral that is high in magnesium, and I believe there's other minerals, but they're mining it to feed to cows. They're putting it in cow feed of all things, which I guess that makes sense, just never thought of mining operations being for animal feed. Most of the time when I think of mining, it's for industrial metals and materials.
It's getting dark out here, but here is a breccia. I believe this is the pipe breccia, so this is the brecciated rock along the edges of that intrusion where the magma came up and erupted at the surface. So it's breaking and fracturing all the rock from all that pressure coming up on through. You can see a whole bunch of class. So it's a whole bunch of fractured rock, essentially. And from that heat, it metamorphosed all the rock as well. For the most part, it punched through a whole bunch of shale, and it metamorphosed that into slate and hornfells. There's another breccia that I collected. And then finally, I have a chunk of lamperite. I have a bigger chunk, but the small one will show you. All that sparkle, that's all the phlagopite, the micas. I can't tell if the camera's focusing on it. Doesn't look like it. It's kind of tricky with the lighting out here right now. That's a phlagopite. Just a lot of micas and other minerals. It's really weathered, so this stuff's really soft. If I was to throw it on the ground right now, it would probably blow up into a big powdery mess. Yeah, so that was cool going out on that field trip, seeing the lamperite. Speaking of field trips, I'm actually going on a class field trip to Hawaii Monday, which is, today is Saturday. By some miracle, hopefully I'll have this video uploaded before I leave. But yeah, for Hawaii, it's going to be my first time ever being in Hawaii, and we are going to the Big Island, of course. We're going to be there for about a week and a half, and we're just going to be going all over the island doing different projects. I believe we're going to be doing some mapping project as well, I believe on Mauna Loa. And of course we're going to Kilauea. I'm not entirely sure what we'll be doing on the island. It is for a class, not a vacation, but it's going to be cool nonetheless, so should be an exciting time. It'll be my first time flying over the ocean as well. I've only flown once, actually, and that was recently last year when I went to Pittsburgh for GSA. But yeah, it's been 3 months since I've uploaded anything to this channel, and as you can tell, I've just been busy with my schoolwork, and that's likely going to continue. So for the next year or more, I'm unfortunately not going to be able to upload hardly anything, so I've kind of been on a trend of not keeping up with things for the last couple of years. But I mean, I'm in a master's program right now, but hopefully next year I can start getting back on track with things. However, with that being said, I do have a video that I filmed many years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. It wasn't meant to be like a YouTube video. I just took a whole bunch of footage because it was pretty, and I tried to splice it up and make a video out of it. And it's a hiking adventure I went with one of my cousins. Did a road trip, but we went to Mount Rainier National Park, so I hopefully should have that video uploaded shortly after this one, if this one gets uploaded in time, so be on the lookout for that. I also have another video that I can hopefully get up as well. If you remember the eclipse that we recently had, I drove all the way to Arkansas to get into the Path of Totality, so I hopefully can get that one up as well, get that quick video up and running. So the other interesting thing that I've been experiencing here in Kansas is the weather. This is the first time I've lived in a place where you can get tornadoes or significant devastating weather on a monthly or weekly basis. So yeah, it's been exciting to see these storms out here, and a little worrying, mainly because of the hail damage. Just recently, what was it, about a week ago now, we had a tornado warning here in town, and it's actually the first tornado warning I've ever had to deal with. It was quite exciting. I wasn't here at my apartment.
I actually knew the storm was coming. I was watching the Doppler, and I was more worried about the hail than the tornadoes, because for the most part, tornadoes follow that single track, and they just hit everything in that track. But everything around it's usually fine. But hail devastates a large area, so I was particularly worried about my vehicle. We have an overlook just on this side of town, so I drove out to the overlook where it looked like nothing was going to occur. I got some really cool pictures, saw some really cool cloud formations I've never seen, and just watching that storm develop was really crazy. And then, of course, the tornado warning occurred. I could hear the sirens going off here in town. I was worried it was going to be a rain-wrapped tornado because it was just this thick wall of rain coming down over the town, so you wouldn't be able to see it if a tornado did occur. I think we had a funnel cloud. Nothing touched down in the town. However, I believe there were about 3 tornado warnings total. One above the town, one southwest of here, and one northeast of here. Apparently the one southwest of here, from what I heard, touched down briefly near the airport and then went back up. So it didn't do anything, thankfully. Yeah, it's been kind of exciting. I don't know, I kind of find it ironic that I've come to Kansas to study volcanoes. When I was younger, I wanted to be a tornado chaser. Or a weatherman. Both, actually. Here I am now, studying volcanoes, wanting to work with volcanoes in geology, volcanology. And yet I've come to Kansas, where we have tornado warnings. So, I've taken an interest recently in the weather. I mean, it's hard not to when you live in a place like this where you got to pay attention to these things and what's going on up above and all around you. So, yeah, I don't know. I find it kind of ironic. Was in my first tornado warning before seeing my first active volcano. I mean, I've been to volcanoes, I've seen volcanoes, but not one that's actively erupting. So, haven't seen a tornado yet. So anyways, this will conclude this update video. Got my research coming up in Dillon, Montana, collecting all my rock samples to get that geochemistry and the isotope data, figure out those different mantle sources, hopefully figure out a tectonic model with those. Then, of course, my classes, my upcoming field trip to Hawaii in 2 days, and all the writing and reading I have to do. So much reading. So I'm going to be quite busy. So with that, I don't know how many videos I'm going to be able to produce this year. So I hope to get back on track. Of course, after I graduate, I have lots of things in mind that I'd love to do. Just can't make them happen right now. So this will conclude this update video. I'm not sure when I'll have another one uploaded, besides, of course, the one to Mount Rainier, and perhaps the solar eclipse video up soon. But besides that, I'll be, for the most part, too busy to do anything significant. But anyways, until next time, you all take care.